धरती है आकाश है गुरु रामदास है धरती है आकाश है गुरु रामदास है धरती है
Konnichiwa. Hola. Ni hao. Bonjour. Buongiorno. Assalamu alaikum. Shalom. Aloha. Jambo. Welcome to The Journey. My name is Carolyn Jones and I'm your host. Today's journey will shed some light on how we can maintain a joyful perspective about our circumstances. According to Dr. Norman Vincent Peale, author of The Power of Positive Thinking, one should adopt a calm philosophy of living. Dr. Peale further suggests that a reasonable level of self-confidence automatically brings forth success and happiness because we tend to get what we expect. Napoleon Hill, born on October 26, 1883, was an American author who is described as one of the earliest producers of the modern genre of personal success literature. Think and Grow Rich, one of the best-selling books of all time, was his most famous work. He is quoted as saying that people are free to believe what they want to believe. That fact sets the United States apart from all other countries in the world. The habit of worry often stems from ingrained beliefs and generational superstitions. Mr. Hill reveals the symptoms of worry. They include finding fault with others, overspending, neglecting one's personal appearance, frowning, nervousness, lack of poise, self-consciousness, and the excessive use of alcohol or drugs. My personal experience with optimism has led me to the resolution of many personal and professional challenges. We have all come in contact with difficult family members, harsh supervisors, cutthroat friends and acquaintances, and disgruntled strangers. Everything is rooted in one's perspective. According to an article printed in Nature Neuroscience in October 2005 entitled The Self as a Reflection of Others, researchers at the Max Planck Institute for Human, Cognitive, and Brain Sciences in Munich, in cooperation with scientists from the University of Bournemouth in England and Rutgers University in the United States, have shown that our actions, capabilities, and the knowledge of our own body determines our understanding of others' actions. The article concludes with the following statement. Our body serves as a reference by which we interpret other people's actions. In other words, we understand in others what we can do ourselves, and what we cannot do ourselves, we cannot understand in others. Feedback from our own body seems to form our intuitive understanding of other people's intentions. In this way, we can predict the consequences of others' actions, sympathize and empathize, all keys to the success and continuity of social relationships. Washington-based transpersonal psychologist and life coach Dr. Esther Onaro has agreed to share her views on the topic of optimism today. Konnichiwa, Dr. Onaro.
Konnichiwa.
For those of you in the listening audience, konnichiwa means hello in Japanese. I know that you can shed some divine light on this personal strength we call optimism, Dr. Onaro.
Yes, I'd be very happy to do so. And the source of my information will come from the January 17, 2005 Time magazine and the article, The Science of Happiness, Why Optimists Live Longer, and from the book, Mind-Body Unity by Henry Dreher. He's a writer, a science and health writer. And one of the things that both of these documents indicate is that optimism is the internal belief that our future will contain factors or favorable factors that we value. And also they point out that optimism has various aspects. These are our thoughts, we expect our future will be pleasant. Our motivation, we are willing and we have the ability to move. Passion, we are passionate and we are willing to take compelling action. Excitement, we get excited and roused to a higher level in order to achieve the desired outcome. Imagination, our internal pictures are vivid. They depict favorable conditions. And in this line, it brought out that Einstein once said that it is more important that you have imagination than knowledge. And this is because knowledge is limited, whereas in his opinion, imagination would encircle the world and would empower you. We also find that another aspect is energy. We feel hope and excitement regarding our future. And then actions. We act as if the desired condition has already occurred.
That's all very interesting, very positive, and very true. What happens when we experience adversity?
Well, we all experience adversity, but if we keep in mind what the psychologist Martin Seligman said, he said we should think in terms of the ABCs. We would have adversity, but we also have belief, and then we have to think in terms of the consequences. Do we want the consequences that would come based on our beliefs? If we don't, then an optimistic person has the internal ability to make the change.
So that means we have to take the responsibility to make our own predictions for a desired outcome in our lives.
That's correct. It all starts with personal responsibility, a willingness or a desire for something different. We don't just go ahead and think positively and leave it at that, nor do we become pessimistic. Instead, we realize that this is not what has happened, is not what we want. Therefore, we begin to come up with a plan on how we can get the desired outcome that we want.
Yes, because we must acknowledge that failure is a reality.
It is.
Mm-hmm. So how do we overcome that?
Well, the way that we overcome these adversities is we must come up with a plan in our minds. We must want something different. We must identify what it is that we want, and we must refuse to give in to anything less than our desired outcome.
Yes, and we have to be careful, I imagine, to not become overconfident and don't just trust that everything will automatically come together for us. It's something we have to work toward.
We have to work toward it. We don't want to become overly confident and cocky, nor do we want to succumb to depression or feeling that there's nothing that we can do. There's a very fine balance that we have to maintain.
So the benefits for practicing optimism, could you give them?
Yes. The benefits that we have for practicing optimism would be we would think in terms of the perceived benefits that we would get. We are motivated to want to take the appropriate action. We think consciously about the actions that we're about to take that's going to lead us to our goal. And we also have that internal belief and feeling that what we are striving toward is attainable. And also, we find that when we are faced with the adversity that is likely to come along the way, we are aware that that will happen, and we have a belief that we will overcome and that we will change and make the necessary adjustments and have that motivation and that passion to continue moving forward and not lose our mental focus.
Yes, so tenaciousness is the key.
It is. We must be tenacious. We must refuse to give up. And we also have to keep in mind that we have the internal power to direct our thoughts toward constructive problem solving instead of us taking the attitude that we will stagnate and, move into the slope of pessimism and worry.
So what I hear you saying is that we have to develop strong mental muscles in order to not stagnate and get distracted with worry.
Yes, we must develop strong mental muscles, but we also want to surround ourselves with people and literature that also support us. We want people who believe in us and who help to, if we run into a problem or some difficulty, and we all do this from time to time, you need someone to talk to. So therefore, you want to make sure that you have a broad base of people that you can call upon. If you don't have that broad base of individuals that are close by, you want to make sure you have some good literature that you can do research on, or someone that you can call who may not be in your immediate vicinity at the moment. But there's always something that we can do. We give ourselves permission to overcome, to go higher, to transcend.
So how does one develop optimism, Dr. Onaro?
Well, optimism is something that can be learned. And in fact, there's a very interesting book that was written by psychologist Martin Siegelman at the University of Pennsylvania. It's entitled Learn Optimism. And some of the things that are brought out in that book is that it's very important that we practice various techniques. For example, self-talk. We want to say out loud to ourselves in a highly motivated tone that we have what we say, or that we definitely can see it on the horizon. We also want to meditate on the desired outcome. And this meditating is we are actually creating internal pictures for the subconscious mind to work with in order to bring into reality our desires. We also want to make sure we have an active imagination. We want to learn to visualize ourselves in the desired situation, and we want to feel the feelings and experience the euphoria of what it would be like to be where we want to be. We also want to increase our energies. We want to have hope. We want enthusiasm, self-confidence, and a pleasant anticipation for this favorable outcome. And we act as if the outcome has already materialized. We also develop our intuition, because this intuition is our internal guide that we have that takes us through these adversities. We also want to make sure that we are developing positive patterns that really support us, patterns that help us to work toward and speak to ourselves and to others in aligned and congruent manners. And I think that one of the most important things in this whole list of techniques is our faith. If we just simply look at optimism for what it is, that gives us a reliance on something that's outside of ourselves. Whereas if we think in terms of faith, faith employs a larger viewpoint that the universe, which is based on laws and principles, which we have seen over time, always come true. Therefore, it builds our self-confidence that what we are having faith toward, the outcome that we desire, will actually take place. And finally, we must be prepared. We can't just sit and think and wonder and talk. We must actually be prepared and doing the work that's going to take us to the goal that we are trying to reach.
Okay. Well, I know that in creating a strong self-image, one of the things you recommend are affirmations. And a great example that you give is to say, good things happen to me. Not good things will happen to me, but good things happen to me. So you're affirming in the present.
That is very true. Because if you keep saying something good or good things will happen, you're continuing to tell your mind it's in the future, that it's not here. But if we tell ourselves that good things happen to me, we are telling our subconscious that it's already here. Just show me where it is. It's here. And we can believe in that tenaciously. And that strengthens our faith. And eventually, whatever it is, it will eventually manifest.
Dr. Onaro, you have certainly provided us with enough evidence that optimism is a characteristic we cannot afford to overlook. for the sake of our physical and mental well-being. I really must let you know that we at The Journey embrace you and look forward to future collaborations as we travel the path of enlightenment for greater personal, social, and national satisfaction. Please say you'll grace us with your presence again soon.
Oh, I would love to. I just thoroughly enjoyed doing the research on this for this particular word because it's one of my favorite words. I'm an eternal optimist.
Yes,
and
you are.
I've seen all of these things come true in my life so many times that I truly have deep faith and strong confidence that this will work for others.
Once again, I really appreciate you, and I look forward to speaking with you soon, and peace and blessings to you.
Thank you. Likewise to you and your wonderful audience. And thank you again for this marvelous opportunity to participate in the journey.
Take care now. We have the special treat of a poetry reading by a very close friend of mine. I call her my Nan. Nan Wright earned her master's at the University of Chicago and has studied at Oxford and NYU. She's a retired English teacher who is a world traveler and an energy healer. She also enjoys the company of an affectionate and beautiful dog named Magic. She tells me he's part Whippet. My Nan rescued this beautiful soul from a shelter, and believe me, he is the epitome of optimism. Hi, my Nan.
Hi.
How are you today?
I'm very well, and you?
Oh, fine, thank you. Are you ready to share your delightful poetry with us?
Yes, I am.
Okay, it's all yours.
Okay, hello, everybody. First poem I will read is entitled, Life Was Much Simpler Then. Once upon a time, life was much simpler. We had no ballpoint pens. There were no fitted sheets. Many yards held egg-laying hens. The real sweeteners were only from cane and beets. Life was much simpler then. The ladies ate what they wanted and got fat. No one thought then to be too thin was a sin. Butter was not limited to a pat. Life was much simpler then. There wasn't much violence, and after dark there was silence. Life was much simpler then. The next poem I'm going to read is called Oh, How Lovely. Today you caught my eye. I don't know why I never saw you before. 34 years have gone and passed. All these years have passed, and each year I have missed your beauty. How could I have been so blind? Today I saw you in your full glory as you reached out to me. My heart skipped a beat when I saw you. A beautiful, tall tree of red roses peeping out the corner of my fence, standing there as if to say, look and behold. You stood so tall above the evergreens which seemed to have given you your sacred space in the midst of weeds. The next poem is called They Called Him Crazy. They laughed at his torn and ragged shoes, his oversized shirts and baggy pants. They mocked his lisp. They made jokes about his bony body. They called him crazy, but he surely wasn't lazy. He kept poring over his books and was the least concerned about outward looks. While he sought to learn and get ahead, today he has the last laugh.
We want more.
The next poem is entitled Me. Some may not think I'm great. Others may think I have too much weight. But my dog thinks I'm wonderful. And I agree because he loves me. The next is called The Giants of the Earth. I want to dwell among the giants of the earth, not the pygmies who fret and frown, wearing jealousy as a crown. I want to walk among the giants of the earth, loving and serving, embracing all of God's creatures, enjoying all of the earth's features. I want to walk among the giants of the earth, enjoying each sunset and sunrise, knowing that only in the evening we can appreciate the day, not trying to surmise what will be the day's surprise. I want to walk among the giants of the earth without empty show. I want to know, to question, and learn each lesson, and see the unfolding of things like pieces in a huge quilt, and live without guilt. I want to walk among the giants of the earth.
Yes, I do too.
Poem is entitled, These Make Life Worthwhile. So many tears, so many smiles, a few miles, some love, often a big shove. These make life worthwhile. Some friends around the bend, a little rain from above, a sun that warms, a bug that doesn't harm. These make life worthwhile. A long kiss and an almost miss, a joyful high and a sad goodbye. These make life worthwhile.
Mm-hmm.
Next poem is entitled, I Believe in Me. I believe in me. It doesn't matter what you say or do. I believe in me. Sometimes I'm up and sometimes I'm down, almost to the ground. But I believe in me. Friends have shunned me. Family has burned me. I've even shocked myself, but I believe in me. Now, nobody's going to slap me around. Nobody's going to make me frown. Nobody's going to make me a clown because I believe in me. The wind may howl and the snow may pile. The rain may pour and the birds may soar, but I believe in me. Now, the next one is entitled Building. The spider builds its web, birds make nests, bees make hives, people build their lives. They make them into shacks or grand and glorious mansions.
Mm-hmm. I want that mansion.
Now, the next poem is entitled Stars. Tiny balls of fire and light, brightening up the night, twinkling and beaming, seemingly close but yet so far away, looking small but great. The next one is called Life. Our thoughts, dreams, and feelings shape our life like water rolling over stone, molding it, shaping it into something majestic or something monstrous.
Mm.
And the next poem is called Snow. Soft, white, fluffy, swirling around, falling softly to the ground. Winter, a tall, bare-branched maple tree whose base is covered with snow, points its fingers to the sky, while on one gnarled limb sits a small red bird whose song is pretty, pretty, pretty. I would like to think he's speaking to me. And the next one, there's no school today. Snow covers everything. The roads are all iced. The children are happy. It's not too cold for them who are bold. Out they go to make snowmen, skate and sled and throw snowballs at Ted.
I know your students love that one.
So
Now,
those are the poems that I have to read today, and I hope that everybody has enjoyed them and as much as I enjoyed sharing them.
yes, now I understand you want to, I certainly did. I understand you want to give us your special performance of Langston Hughes' Mother to Son.
Yes, he's one of my favorite poets, and I would like to share this one called Mother to Son. Well, son, I'll tell you, life for me ain't been no crystal stair. It's had tacks in it and splinters and boards torn up and places with no carpet on the floor. Bare. But all the time, I's been a climbing on and reaching landings and turning corners and sometimes going in the dark where there ain't been no light. So, boy, don't you turn back. Don't you sit down on the steps, 'cause you find it's kind of hard. Don't you fall now. Boy, I'm still going, honey. I'm still climbing. And life for me ain't been no crystal stair.
My Nan, thank you so much for visiting with us today. I absolutely love you. And audience, thank you for listening. See you next week when my guest will be Reverend Annie Bovian, Executive Director of the Women's Advocate Ministry. Our featured artist will be the talented Merrill Jefferson. Let's just say she'll pull at our heartstrings. Remember to submit your comments to me at cmjonesmedia@yahoo.com. We can't wait to hear from you. Affirming yourself of prosperity and peace. My Nan, say it with us. Yes, I will. Yes.
Guru Ram Das hai, Dharti hai, Akash hai. Guru Ram Das hai, Dharti hai, Akash hai. Guru Ram Das hai, Dharti hai. Guru Ram Das hai, Dharti hai, Akash hai. Guru Ram Das hai, Dharti hai, Akash hai. Guru Ram Das hai, Dharti hai.